So here is a simple report in Mondial, which actually shows for OEC computers the monthly sales total for the month of January 2019. You can see that it's a very simple report. It actually takes product sales and services sales and splits them into groups. And within product sales, there are domestic and overseas sales shown separately. The breakdown actually comes from the GL account structure. So there are different GL account ranges behind each of these line items. And you can see that the total for the months are shown here, and they add up to a total sales for the month of about $1.062 million. Now that report is only fairly useful, but would be much more useful if you could take the total sales figure, again, the 1.062 million, and actually break it down by meaningful information. And you can do this in Mondial. So you can see that the total is still the same, but in this report here, we've broken it down by the four main geographies in the business. And so for each of the sales categories that we've identified at the GL level, we've been able to show the subtotal for each of those elements. And it doesn't matter whether those elements are segments within the chart of accounts or whether they're dimensions or cost centers that have been specified and allowed you to tag at the individual transaction line item within a journal. If we move over to the next report, we've got exactly the same process, but this time, instead of geography, we've actually used project codes. And in this instance, we're showing an example of how you can create similar reports for each individual segment or each individual dimension that you support in your underlying system. And so all of the reports look generally the same. Critically, the information at a sort of more granular level is different depending on how you've set your system up. In this report here, again, a similar layout, but a different column structure. Mondial is actually able to understand distribution rules from your underlying system. So in this example, we've got the same totals for sales, but this time they're broken down on a 40-60 split between sales and marketing, because that is the distribution rule that has actually been specified in the underlying system for these transactions that make up these balances. If you actually want to know what the transactions are made up of, let's use the geography report to show that. Any of these reported figures here, let's use the West figure for domestic sales, you can drill into. You can see, although there's only one GL account here, you can see the GL accounts that make up that period balance. You can drill into the balance itself, and you can see the individual transactions that make up the balance for that GL account. And if you see a transaction of interest, you can drill into the transaction further. You can see the full GL journal behind that transaction, and you can even see the individual dimension values, including highlighted the one that you drill down on that make up the overall journal in the underlying system. So with Mondial, you can actually start off with a very summarized report. And while keeping the general format of that report, you can expand it further to break down into subcategories that will actually help you better understand how your business is doing.